Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to stick to Sweden. We're going to head up to Gothenburg once again, Göteborg I should say in Swedish, which as I've told you many a time is the beer city in Sweden these days. And we're going to visit another new brewery who I've never tried anything from, and I've heard very good things about these guys. So for this one, for the first time, we are going to go to Spike Brewing and we're having a taste of the Open to Suggestions. So this one comes in at 6.2%, it's a New England style IPA and it's supposed to be pretty damn good actually. So this one had a rating of 93 both within the style and overall on Rate Beer, and as I say, I've heard some really good things about this brewery, so definitely looking forward to this one, and as always I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that hopefully I can do in the future from Spike Brewing. Very first time I'm trying one of their beers, of course. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Swedish beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, on to my brewery notes then about Spike Brewing then. So Spike Brewing are based in Gothenburg, Göteborg as you would say in Swedish, and they were founded back in 2014 by Mats Westberg, Marcus Oxberry and Martin Johansson. But all three had previously worked in the IT industry, but now it's only Mats and Marcus that are still active in the company. So the brewer is Bernardo Gava, who is from Brazil, and he trained in brewing at the VLB Institute in Berlin, and he joined the company back in early 2017. I think the article I read said it was around January 2017 that they brought him over. But at the moment they're producing around 250,000 litres of beer per year, and around 25% of that volume is used for contract brewing other breweries' beers. Of course, Gothenburg does have a hell of a lot of different brewing companies, but not too many of them actually have their own brewing facility. So quite a few of the slightly bigger breweries, such as this one is, do actually brew under contract with other breweries, which is pretty cool. The likes of Bearded Rabbit, I'm trying to think who else do that. I think Electric Nurse are another one that do that as well. But the brewery itself can be found in the Gamlestaden area, the Old Town area, and they've got an on-site tap room as well, which opens up on Saturdays and serves food as well. They do also offer brewery tours for I think around 350 crowns per person, 490 if you want to get food. But their building itself looks like a really beautiful old building. They've done it up very nicely. Most of their beers, from what I can see, tend to be IPAs and things like that, but they do have other styles in there as well. But it's their IPAs that a lot of people seem to be raving about at the moment. So yeah, if you get the chance to try some of these beers, then definitely have a go. The Gothenburg beer scene is one that I still need to check out. As I've told you many a time, I've been to Gothenburg, but I was only in the city for a couple of hours actually, so I never really got to kind of go there and get the feel for it. But this is a brewery that a lot of people are saying is very good, and this is my first time ever actually tasting one of their beers. So yeah, so that's all you really need to know about the brewery just now. If you want to learn a little bit more, check out the brewery website in the description below. You can see some of the photos and things. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, and you can see all the different beers that they're releasing, because I think when it comes to their small production beers that they serve in the restaurant and stuff like that, they are pretty prolific. But when it comes to the canned releases and things like that, they are a little bit slower with that, because of course Systembolaget, it does take a little bit of time to get things out there. I'm not sure if these beers are available outside of Sweden yet, but maybe Copenhagen actually has some of them as well. I'll ask when I go to Kiosk next time, and hopefully I can maybe pick up some random ones that you don't get in Sweden, because that quite often happens with Swedish breweries. But yeah, let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself. So if memory serves me correctly, this is one that was released, we can get rid of the brewery notes just now, This is one that was released on the 1st of October 2018 through Systembolaget, and it was released with another one, but I couldn't actually get hold of the other one. It sold out very, very quickly, but I was still able to order this one. So this one is called the Open to Suggestions IPA, comes in at 6.2% ABV, and as I say, it should be pretty nice. On Rate Beer, this guy had a 93 overall and within the style, and I think it was like a 3.9 or something like that it had on Untappd, but this one is a 440 milliliter can, I'm guessing. Yep, so it's based, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, the American pint is around 440 millilitres, but I really don't understand why there's so many breweries in Europe actually doing this 440 milliliter thing. I really do not understand it. Why not just do a half litre like they would do in Germany and things like that? That's the standard measurement. Why are we using these crazy fluid ounce things from America? Just use the half litre, plus it means we get more beer. But yeah, nicely presented one. This, a lot of the artwork on their different beers is different. This one I do quite like the kind of camouflage thing on it there. But there on the can you can see there is the Spike Brewery symbol, and there you can see the Open to Suggestions IPA, 6.2%. This one is a New England style IPA, and it says it is best before the 31st of April 2019. So yeah, see how we get on with this one. But let's get out and we'll get on with the tasting then. So yeah, oh, you can smell some of the lovely fruity notes on this as you open it up. We'll just be careful with it. It's got a little bit of an excited head on this one. That will calm down fairly quickly though. But I'll tell you something, mangoes, passion fruits, it's a really big fruity bomb on the nose, this one. That is kind of crazy. This one must have been a little bit excited when it was moving around in the can, but we still can have a little bit of it to look at there. But yeah, as you can see with this beer, it's poured a nice hazy, bright kind of yellow colour there. That head is just dying down quite quickly, which is nice. It's becoming a lot more bumpy, but you can see the head in terms of colour is a kind of creamy colour, I would say, but one or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass. If I put my fingers behind the glass, you can see it is pretty damn hazy. There's not a lot coming through that. If I put the light through the beer, it becomes a little bit more orange, but there is a kind of hazy, yellowy type thing to it. But yeah, you know, it looks pretty nice and pretty much as you would expect from a New England IPA. You know, nothing really surprising in terms of its appearance. But let's take a closer look at the aroma then and just see how we get on with this one. But yeah, the aroma on this one is really fruity and juicy. Lovely big sort of passion fruits, definitely. A lot of passion fruit in this one. I think mangoes as well, and you know, maybe a bit of pineapple as well. I wonder if there's, I reckon Citra in this one, definitely, because there's a bit of lychee on the back end of the beer. It could be, you know, if it's passion fruit, one of the ones could be Simcoe, but if it's got a bit of that pineapple note, I reckon it could be Galaxy. I always love playing Guess the Hops when it comes to these beers. But yeah, it's got a lovely big fruity kind of juicy aroma in it there. Not sure if there's a little bit, it almost has just a wee touch of lime or something like that in it, which is interesting. There could be a little bit of an equinaut in there, light that gives you the lime, but it's got a little bit, it could be lemon, so the other option could be Centennial. It's got something like that in there. It's just got something, it's a little touch more pungent, if that makes sense, than you would get from the likes of mangoes and passion fruits and stuff like that. It's got just something a little bit like that. But yeah, just pay attention to that. There, as I say, I suspect there could be a Centennial in there or an equinaut. I'm not too sure whether it's more a lemon or a limey note, because it could be both, right enough. I think there is a little bit of that in there, but definitely mangoes, definitely passion fruits, and I think a bit of, I really think there's a bit of, what's the word that's gone right out of my head? I do think there's a bit of Galaxy in there, maybe pineapples. That's what's making me think that. But yeah, take a bit of time and enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck into it, but let's stick a wee bit more of it in before we actually taste it there. That head is very, very delicate on this one for some reason. Must have been stirred up when I was ordering this one. I had to order this beer in to Systembolaget. But yeah, really nice looking beer, this one. So without further ado, let's have a taste of this one. This one is the Open to Suggestions, a 6.2% New England IPA from Spike Brewing up in Gothenburg here in Sweden. Sweden's beer city. If you get the chance, go and check it out. But let's get stuck in. Slanja, skål. That's a nice beer actually, yeah. I like how this one's kind of coming across. It's got a good bit of bitterness to it as well, which is interesting. You know, normally the New England IPAs are down there at, you know, the sort of 40-ish IBU mark at most. That's one of the big things. They always were leaning more towards the juicy side of things and bringing out more of the kind of malty, bringing out all the more kind of malty, kind of other thingies in this one. But it does smell really, really, really nice, this. But the flavours in this go together really, really quite well. So let's break this down then. The malt base with this one, you've got a lovely kind of sort of pale malty base to this one, but on top of that you start to get a little bit of the wheaty smoothness, and right in the centre of the palate you can get the more kind of creamy oaty notes, and there's a little bit of sweetness from the kind of biscuity qualities as well, which is interesting. But I will say that about this beer, for a New England IPA, it's got a lot of bitterness to it, and it's actually quite refreshing that. As I've said a few times, I've missed the bitterness and also the sweetness that you get to back that up from the West Coast IPA. So to have a New England IPA that's got a little bit more bitterness to it, I think is a nice change of pace. So I do like that about this beer. It's really, really good. I can see why people are recommending this brewery actually, because you can tell straight away with this, it is a very, very well done beer, that. So yeah, if you get the chance to try this one, really have a go at it. And I think I'm drinking it quite fresh obviously as well. So with this one, a little bit of a kind of little tiny touch of earthiness there in the back corners of the palate, but as you come further forward you've got a nice little bit of a sort of floral aromaticity to this one. It's almost got a little touch of a spicy note to it. There's maybe a wee touch of like Columbus or something in there, just to kind of bitter the beer up, and then round the front curve of the palate it's a little bit lighter and grassy. Obviously they're doing something upstairs. But yeah, with this one, if you go just behind the front curve of the palate, as you always do with these beers, you get some of these nice juicy fruity esters coming out of the beer, which is really, really nice actually. So for this one, I would say there is a little touch of grapefruit in there, just towards the back of that front part of your palate. There's a little bit of a kind of darker grapefruity note in there. There's some sort of there's definitely passion fruit in there as well. I've always found that grapefruit and passion fruit, grapefruit is this really dark sour flavour, but then there's passion fruit, which is just a little bit lighter than that. Yeah. Definitely a bit of passion fruit in this one. As you go further into the aftertaste, you start to get a little bit more of a slightly juicier sort of mango flavour out of this beer as well, which is really, really nice. And when you're going further into the aftertaste, there's a little bit of an almost kind of lychee note to this one, and you start to get a kind of pineapple-y flavour as well. I really do think that there is, I think that there's a little bit of a, I think there's a little bit of I do think there's galaxy in this one, because the way the pineapple's coming out. So I think the passion fruit and the pineapple in this beer is definitely coming from galaxy. There could be some Simcoe in there, because the passion fruit flavour is quite strong, but I've always found Simcoe is a very straight up passion fruit flavour. But I think there's Citra in here as well. So if I had to hedge my bets, I would say probably Citra, and I would say Citra and a little bit of and a good bit of galaxy as well. I think those are the two hops, but those are two very popular hops in terms of combining things for IPAs these days. But as I'll say, this is a really nice beer, this one. If you get the chance to try some of these spiked beers on the basis of this one, I do think you're going to have a good time. Yeah. That's nice, that. I like, as you go further and further into this beer as well, it's got a nice kind of, the oatiness I think starts to come out of this one a little bit more, and some more of the kind of smooth, wheaty qualities are in there too, which is really quite nice actually. I like how everything's kind of combining together in this one, which is good. But there is a little, the bitterness just kind of lingers there as well. This is annoying now. There's a little bit of kind of bitterness in there as well with this beer, which is really good. In terms of the mouthfeel then, I would say that it has quite a nice, I would say that it has a really quite nice bitterness to it. It's a kind of mid-bodied beer, this one. Nice smooth mouthfeel to it. Mainly smooth more than oily or anything like that. It's not quite creamy though, I would definitely say that. It's definitely got a nice sort of creamy smoothness to it, which is good. That doesn't make sense, sorry, it's got a nice, just smooth, almost, it's the wheaty quality in this beer that's really giving it the smoothness. Good little bit of hoppy bitterness. I would say it has to be around 60 or so IBUs, somewhere around that kind of region, 50 or 60 IBUs. I would say nice juicy fruity quality to this one, nice little bit of there's a little touch of sweetness from the malt, but it's quite smooth actually. But overall, it's a really, really nice beer, this one, and I'm glad that I was able to review this one for you. I'm really quite happy about that. But yeah, really interesting beer, this one, and on the basis of this, I definitely want to try some more of these Spike Brewing beers, but we'll cut the review a bit short just now for that, because you're probably not going to hear very much of what I'm saying. But once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. This was a really, really nice beer. In terms of the New England type IPAs, it's got a good little bit more bitterness to it than you would normally expect. It's got everything you would expect in terms of flavour. You've got the nice oaty creaminess, the nice wheaty base to it, but overall it's a really, really solid beer, and I can see exactly why this one was so highly rated. But let's leave it at that for this one. So once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do check out my social media, and until the next time, try some of these beers. You know, the Spike Brewing beers are obviously pretty damn good, I have to say. But yeah, thank you again, and I will catch you guys very soon. This one was the Open to Suggestions IPA, New England IPA at 6.2% from Spike Brewing Company up in Gothenburg on the west coast of Sweden. Until the next time, it's landed just now. Skål.